easily. Memory management schemes. Easily memory management schemes.
Good day everyone, my name is Grace Apura Iray from BSIT 2A. And this video, we are going to learn about early memory management schemes. So there are 4 memory management schemes. First, single user contiguous. Second, fixed partition. Third, dynamic partition. And the last one is the relocatable dynamic partitions. The characteristics of these 4 early memory management schemes are: first, entire program needs to be loaded into memory. Second, restored contiguously. Third, remain in memory until entire job is completed. Single-user contiguous has a characteristic. So there are 3 characteristics. First is not efficient use of memory. Second, poor performance or slow. Third is single job or program reserves the entire and contiguous. As well, the entire program or job is first loaded into memory and contiguously as much as possible before the execution, because if the size of program is larger than the size of the memory available, the execution will not begin. So the second early memory management schemes is fixed partition. So there are 3 characteristics of fixed partition. First is partitions allow more than one job to be in memory at the same time. Second is partitions are stored in partition memory table to keep track of memory usage, which is managed by operating system. So the last characteristic of fixed partition is size of partition is static unless the system is rebooted. So all these are simplest technique used to put more than one processes in the main memory. In this partitioning, number of partitions or non-overlapping in RAM are fixed, but of each partition may or may not be same as it contiguous allocations, hence no spanning is allowed. Her partitions are made before execution or during system failure. The third memory management schemes is dynamic partition. So there are 5 characteristics of dynamic partitions. First is still keep in contiguous blocks. Second, jobs are only given as much memory as they request when they are loading into memory. Third is significant improvement because memory is not wasted within a partition. Fourth, it introduces a problem, fragmentation, internal and external both wasting memory. The fifth or the last characteristic of dynamic partitions is work well for the first jobs that are loaded, but as jobs complete and new jobs get memory fragmentations occurs. Allocated in every partition can be completed in 2 different ways. First, fit allocations and bit fit allocations. The first is first fit allocation. It has 2 characters. First is finds the first partitions that has sufficient memory space. Second, does not take into account how much memory can be wasted in the partition. Next is the best fit allocation. So there are 2 characteristics of best fit allocation. First is the locks for the smallest partition that can accommodate the job. Second is the efficient but slow performance. The allocation is the release of memory space after a job has been completed. So for fixed partitions, there are simple straight or forward process. For dynamic partitions, there are a bit more complex process. So there are 3 scenarios. First is joining 2 free blocks. Second is joining 3 free blocks. And lastly is deallocating on isolated blocks. The joining 2 free blocks is listing reflects starting address of the view of free block. Second is the joining three free blocks is between two free memory blocks. Then the last is deallocating an isolated block is isolated from other free areas. The last part of memory management schemes is relocatable dynamic partitions. So there are four characteristics of relocatable dynamic partitions. First is address some of the concerns related to fragmentation and demand. Second is memory manager relocates programs together all of the empty blocks and compass them to make one block of memory to accommodate waiting jobs. Third is compaction of memory or defragmentable is performed by the operating system to reclaim fragmented space. Compaction is not an easy task of all programs in memory. Must be allocated to place them in contiguous memory locations and all tables must be updated. Then the last characteristic of relocatable dynamic partition is by compacting and relocating the memory manager optimizes the use of memory and improves throughput but requires more overhead.
Thank you for watching. Hope you have learned.